We all remember being young and having those big, wild and imaginative dreams about what we're going to be when we're older. And for Magna, her passion lied in acting. Hello everyone and welcome to Dueling with Downton, and today we're here to talk about episode 8 of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Go Rush anime series. A very fun and enjoyable episode that introduces us to two new characters, Magna and London. Well, technically we saw Magna in the last episode, but this one we get to see her finally duel and showcase her own personality. So we'll be talking about both of them and a bit more in time. First things first, I have to confess though, because I've not watched episode 3 yet as of this review. So this is my first time seeing Yuumu duel, and of course her monsters in actions. Therefore, as we go through the review, I'll give you my brief thoughts on them moving forward. So, starting off with Magna's character, working us all with her acting ability by playing the stuck-up, better-than-you persona. Even fooling me as the watcher into thinking that she was genuinely like this, as often fame can get to one's head, causing them to think they're better than everybody else, and then changing their personality from what it once was. Also, being from the Itachi family tree and hearing her over-dramatic lines like how she was bullied by her seniors and she wandered around in the rain lonely and depressed, it kind of reminded me of the crazy and over-the-top things we would hear from Mimi Itachi from Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s. Plus, it shows that as an actress, Magna is very creative when it comes to creating dialogue and scripts for herself. Of course, this story might have just been fabricated to create fake sympathy, as it was a sad, heartwarming kind of story for the audience to hear. But was it truly all acting? That's the big question, as making it big as an actress would have been very difficult, especially at such a young age as these characters are. As well as the fact is, directly after that line, we see the scene in where Magna finds that dog that we see appear in the opening and will be dueling in the next episode. Of course, the dog carries similar traits to Yoshio's dog from 7s, but at the same time, I do think that the words and backstories she presented in this episode, Magna that is, certain elements of that could be true. And I'm hoping to find out more about the character as we progress throughout the series of Go Rush. Because I do like this character, not gonna lie. A quick question, has anyone played the English Rush Dueling Switch game or heard Mimi's lines from the English version? I ask this because in the games Mimi uses phrases like gag me with a spoon and that's bananas, amongst a few others. And of course in this episode we see Magna use the word boonies when describing people from Mutsuba Town. I'm not quite sure, but it just feels similar in the way that both characters kind of offer up some weird, obscure phrases within their dialogue. Of course, I know this is different because the Japanese version of Mimi doesn't say those type of lines. It's only in the English version that they do. But at the same time, it's kind of like Magna when she's acting sort of mean-spirited, evil, malicious. She's kind of bracing her inner English version or English dub Mimi Itachi. It's kind of weird, but also kind of funny. I really like Magna's design, but the one thing that did slightly annoy me was the repetitive noises of her saying Magna when being attacked. Now this to me made me think that she was some sort of Pokemon, unable to actually say real words, only saying her name with other kind of sounds. It got a little bit irritating after a while, I'm not gonna lie. And hopefully she gets a win soon and breaks the Itachi dueling curse. At least Magna's mother broke the height curse of the family, as this is the first mother that we see of our new generation in Go Rush. Kinda cool. But now let's turn our attention to her monsters, as she's rocking the Aqua's attribute. And I quite like this because I do like using Aqua's attribute monsters myself. However, just like Mimi, Magna's deck also gives some freshness to older Yu-Gi-Oh! Monsters. So let's take a look at them and see what their counterparts actually are. The two monsters summoned towards the end were Nuvia, the wicked mischief maker, who is an upgrade on the odd-looking Nuvia the Wicked. We also got to see a younger version of both Dark Witch and Sword Mistress. Unfortunately though, I couldn't actually figure out who Mystical Sandbox was based after. So if you know, then please enlighten me in the comments down below. I don't think it's another variation of Mystical Elf, and I can't see it being Mystical Clown. So, I don't know. Yeah, help me out. Okay, so it's on to the main attraction of this deck. It's Diane Keto, the Cure Maiden. And this card art looks stunning. I absolutely love the design for it. And his skill is okay, but not brilliant. The requirements. You have to have a face-up field spell on your field. Effect, draw one and show it. Then, if that card is a field spell, it gains 1000 life points, or you gain 1000. It's not the most reliable skill in Yu-Gi-Oh! As you don't really have a lot of chances to draw field spells. However, this deck does really want you to have field spells in your deck to power up your monsters, but then potentially lower your opponent's monsters as well in terms of attack points. Also, the fact you can just draw one card as well midway through your turn could be quite useful depending on what you actually draw. The summoning chant for this monster I thought was pure brilliant. I love how Cure Maiden is linked to breaking TV views, and the monster itself is technically, for lack of better words, a lolly version of Diane Keto, showing that lollies get great views on TV. The fact that this card also has a movie surrounding it with Manya playing the leading role makes me want to see more variations of the Diane Keto Cure Maiden card. This is because we could then have Manya starring in more movies. For example, we could have Diane Keto the Hero Maiden. This would be a new variation card of the Diane Keto line, and heroes always sell movie tickets, so it's a win-win for everybody. The spell card, Wandering in the Rain, looks stunning visually. I really love this card art, and his skill is pretty useful and helpful in the right situation. But now, let's move on to Yuumu. I really like this dueling showcasing from her and her cards. Her cards all have decent designs and really cool abilities. Like Bluetooth, having the skill of destroying monsters under 1500 attack and then gaining power itself. But I think the coolest thing about these monsters when watching it in this episode were the summoning animations, and they all had great dialogue to go with them, but the visuals were amazing as well. I thought seeing Yuumu looking hurt at the start of the episode when her long-seen friend acted like she didn't even remember her. This was quite realistic, as it makes sense. You would feel sad when you haven't seen a friend for so long and they start acting like they don't remember you, especially when you've been so excited to see them after this long period of time of not actually seeing them beforehand. But Yuumu revealing at the end that she knew that Manya was acting all along wasn't too shocking, as the twist itself did actually catch me personally off guard, but at the same time, when looking back, we do see within the duel that Yuumu is smiling, acting happy, like she's having fun. Again, this is quite realistic, as we know that Yuumu is quite smart and is good at analysing things, but at the same time, she's with a friend and sees how successful a friend has been in chasing her dream of acting. So of course, Yuumu is going to be happy for Manya regardless. I would like to see more of Yuumu and learning more about her dreams and her desires. But as for this episode in particular, I thought the character, she was fun and decent to watch. So let's see more of our president of UTS. Yeah. So in Yu-Gi-Oh! 7s, we had Mimi Itachi, who was fangirling over Roa Kirishima. And in Go Rush, we have the roles switched around to where we have London Kirishima simping / fanboying for Manya Itachi. And to him, I have to say, give it up, because you ain't getting her attention. Although, I would like to see if there is actually a reason or backstory to this character that explains his loyalty to Magna and why he's so infatuated with her. I just think it's really funny how the roles have now been switched, and London does seem to have this slight British flair to his design. So I do wonder if they'll give him like this old-fashioned music style deck that would fit in with like something like the Beatles. And I'm not one to judge people's fashion, but those trousers, yikes, they're like curtains. Anyway, yeah, it's going to be interesting to learn more about London moving forward, but it's just a bit of comedy at the minute, isn't it? Overall, I have positive things to say about this episode, as I liked it a lot. Now, I'm gonna go into next week's episode with some caution, as it looks like we're having the dog duel Manabu next. So it's cat versus dog, and well, I'm not sure if that's going to be super entertaining, but we'll have to wait and see. Nevertheless though, this episode itself, episode 8, was brilliant. I liked it from start to finish, and I thought the characters were very interesting and very fun and enjoyable. Another interesting thing this episode does is it clears up slightly the opening silhouette shot, as it says, hey, these aren't just going to be alien monsters, there's going to be ally monsters too. But anyway, those are my thoughts on this episode. I want to hear yours in the comments down below. Let me know what you have to say. I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinion. Hope you enjoyed this review. If you have, hit like, comment and subscribe so you never miss a video from myself. And have a great day. Alligator, Martinet, goodbye.